they're doing enough for that other part to be satisfied, you know. But sometimes, I mean, men don't clock in to their emotional side enough, and they don't want to be seen as weak, I guess. Mm-hmm. But a lot of men don't clock in to that emotional side where their woman needs to see that in order to, I guess, feel safe and secure. And then a lot of things is, like you said, man, it's a lot of daddy issues too that hadn't been addressed, and a lot of women don't know why they act like that as well because of that, you know, and it could be issues on the man's side as well. I mean, they probably always saw dad do it this way, and that's their interpretation on how it's supposed to work. But I mean, you never heard your mom's side of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just going off of what you see. I mean, you don't know what's behind the curtain. And they'll come out from the curtain and everything's peaches and cream, but when they get behind the curtain, Jan, you don't know what type of heat your dad's taking or your mom. So,
for better or worse, because sometimes what I see a lot of is mom's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know why she's so crazy on dad. Yeah. I'm like, hold up, let's let this play out.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, well, dad's not answering her. Yeah. You know who starts to yell and goes crazy when they're not heard or answered? Mom. Yeah. And dad's not giving to her what she needs, so she looks more vocal. She's more emotional, right? And things like, oh, she's on a period, or oh, you know, hormones, right? And I'm like, but you got hormones too, man.
Yeah.
You got times too where you're hurt, you're emotional, and you're telling me when she's talking to you like that, you don't feel a certain way?
Yeah.
Like, because if you don't, then you care?
Yeah.
She's in pain right now, and you're just letting her go off. So in that moment, what's going on? Right? And you're just chalking it up to, she's crazy.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to be tough, you know. Like, I think boys, men at an early age, are kind of like taught to push that emotional vulnerability to the side, because you could fall and scrape your knee, and your dad would be like, get up, you okay? You know, brush it off, instead of just asking if you're okay, if you need to go get a Band-Aid. He's going to tell you to get your butt up, man, that wasn't nothing. So now, you in a situation with your spouse, and she's screaming and yelling, she's emotional, so she's letting you know where she's at. Mm-hmm. But you're like brushing it off your shoulder because in a way that's how you've been taught. I mean, you get to a point where you hurt. Instead of showing the vulnerability of being hurt, you rather just play it off like, I'm okay, let me get to it. So now mom's screaming, oh, she crazy. So now you're just blowing it off again. So you're not addressing that. What would help if you guys could sit down and she could just blow off some steam, and then you can really at least try to open up so she can get a hint that you do have emotions and you are human, and see your point of view. Because, I mean, men will keep it bottled up. And like you said, until you get to that point, and now you're just angry. And now she's like, man, what is she all blown up over this for? That was probably months, maybe years of him just tucking it away. And now it just came to this point where you forgot to put cheese on the cheeseburger, and he's through the roof now.
Yep.
You know,
all this stuff I do. Yeah. Now comes out. All this stuff I do. Hey, you know, cheese. You know, I cheese on a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
You care that much about cheese, or what else is going on there?
Right.
It's just Colby Jack's. Ain't that flavorful?
Yeah. Ain't no flavor.
Yeah, no flavor. It's the kid's favorite cheese, that Colby Jack.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Tastes like air.
Yeah. So.
You make a good point, though, right? There's value in dad saying, hey, get up, brush it off, right? Because there's value in, hey, stuff happens, keep going.
Yeah.
Because mental health overcorrected, where they said, oh, you fell down, scraped your knee, let's lay on the ground and let's just sink into it.
Yeah.
That's why people tell me, oh, I can't get out of bed, you know, oh, it's just too hard. And I'm not trying to underplay anybody's mental health, but I am trying to help people be functional. Because at the end of the day, especially if you have a family or an obligation to a wife, or an obligation to a job, even if you're single. You do some days just gotta get to the next thing. There's value in that, right?
Yeah.
But it is also within that making space for the fact that this kid's hurt.
Yeah.
Right? And it hurts. And I've hurt my knee before. You ever scraped your knee?
Yeah.
It's like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like when kids scrape their knees, my daughter would scrape her knee when she was younger. I'm like, well, there goes the weekend. Because now all of a sudden she went, oh, my knee. And then we lost the whole trip to California one time because she scraped her elbow. And our next trip, she scraped like the day before, and our kid, this girl, pushed her down, not on purpose, in line. Or at least that's the narrative my daughter has, which God bless her, she's so pure. But I think it's malicious, but whatever. I didn't want to break her little bubble. But she says, we go to, our trip was to, what's that water park? What's that big water park? Great Wolf Lodge.
Yeah.
We were going to a water park, she had a skin elbow. What happens to injuries in water?
Yeah.
Yeah, the scab gets ripped open over and over. So we go in the wave pool that first day we get there after all that travel, and she's like, it hurts. I'm like, well, I know, sweetheart, but we got to keep going. I'm like, it hurts. I was like, So anyways, scrape yourself. It hurts. So so you got to make space for that. But there's also a sweetheart, but you got to keep going in the water. We're at a water park.
Yeah.
It's not going to get any better for the next 3 days.
At all.
So we just got to kind of have that and still play in the water. Right? So making space for like, I know it hurts. I know it does. I do know it does. If there's anything I can do, second scan, a Band-Aid, I'll run to Walgreens right now and get something to help. And all that's telling her is like, this is important to you. Right? This injury is real to you. And that's where, to your point about, men and women in a relationship, it's not a weakness to hold emotion. It's strength, because now I'm able to be a whole person. I'm a whole person, not just this. Because I ask people about their dad. My dad's great. Get this. I'm like, yeah, I mean, did you ever, your dad ever get frustrated or whatever? Oh, my dad would yell, but we had to come, whatever. I'm like, so you saw yelling. What else did you see? Did your dad give you a lot of hugs? No, my dad's not really touchy. I'm like, ouch. Ouch. I'm like, yeah, hug from your dad. Yeah. A hug from your dad. Big arms around you like that. I'm 6'5". I always want a hug from one of them 7-foot guys. Yeah. I want someone to wrap me around. Because you get that as a kid, And they actually talk about girls. They go to like a state of depression when they start to hit that puberty adolescence. Because dads stop touching them.
Yeah.
Now they're growing breasts and they're growing, they're becoming a woman.
You stand off.
Right, so dad's not touching no one. Dad's not touching the shoulder. Like even when we're standing, my daughter will be on my leg and my hand will be like right here on her. Kind of holding her in. Well, when she goes breast, I'm not going to put my hands there. Right? But I still need to make it a point to touch her on her shoulder, still give her hugs. So it just shows how you've got to be I'm in touch with my discomfort of this grown woman with features that we've seen on women that are appealing, but I need to separate, because that's my daughter, she needs love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that takes work, it takes emotional awareness of like, oh, I don't feel very good. So that's emotions too.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah. Especially with girls.
Yeah. And it's rooted in something pure. I don't want to make them uncomfortable. Like I really do, so much of this is rooted in something pure. I don't want my kid to be a wuss. That could sound negative, but in this world, it's a tough world. You've lived life when your kid scrapes their knee, right? You've lived life. There's lots of scraped knees. There's scraped egos. There's scraped, scraped egos. I was going to say scraped pride, but ego. And you get scraped, and you do got to keep carrying on. So it's rooted in value, but it gets translated as, well, this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it matters to me as a person, but the God of my world, my dad, is saying it doesn't matter. And our parents, as parents, we're gods of our kids, until they finally start to realize the world in its bigger place. We are their gods. And whatever we say becomes authority.
Yeah, it's law.
Yeah. But not even what we say, more what we do.
Right. That's what they're watching. They're watching more than what they're listening to. So.
Last point on that. We would work at the VA, right? And we get these work release people. Mm-hmm. People have been locked up for 20 years. Who had the most philosophy about life than Jailhouse Prophet?
Yeah.
They would tell me how to live life. This mental health is hogwash. You just need to. Is all a man needs to do is blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, you've been in prison for 20 years. What?
Yeah.
What is telling you that this is? But in his mind, his point of view, it's all you need to do. There's no other perspective.
No.
And that's where I'm like, we all just need to be open up to like, you know, there's stuff I don't know.
Be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know it all. You don't know it all. Nobody does.
I think we all know jailhouse process. I even see them personally, and they know everything
You just need to know what to do.
until they don't. And they don't really know nothing.
It's very sad, but what is it? I think there's an awareness inside that knows that.
Yeah.
And I think it's so covered by because there were you guys in treatment at Center Point when I worked at, they were going to jail. They were going to jail. And I'm sitting there and be like, listen man, I'm not gonna tell you to get in touch with your emotions. I'm actually gonna tell you like, I don't know what to tell you because like mental health opens you up and when you first open that egg, you're like dealing with these emotions and it can become worse, not better. Because you're dealing with emotion with the emotional regulation of a 15-year-old. Right? And you're about to go to prison. Maybe just figure out like how to like find peace wherever you're at. Like, but you're gonna go in and you're gonna have a layer on top of a layer on top of a layer on top of a layer. You gotta survive in that
Security.
place. You can't be, hey man, that hurt my feelings when you took my tray.
Yeah. Took my bread.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Took my commissary.
Right.
Yeah.
So, again, it's all context.
Yeah. So let me ask you, have you been seeing a lot of shifting gender roles? Have you been getting a lot of clients coming in with concerns with shifting gender roles, having relationship struggles because of that?
Generally, like transgender?
Well, gender roles meaning like
The woman in the house. Yeah, she the boss.
Yeah, she the boss.
Yeah, the man's not the boss.
You know, she's making more than him, and
More
he
authority.
has an issue with that.
You know, it's funny because even working in a population that's very, more defined as liberal out of California, where you would think most of that would be kind of deteriorated, it still exists.
Yeah.
There's still a difference there. There's something, and I don't know, this is probably an accumulation of stuff I've read and just experience with people. There's still a desire to still be, head of the household. And so there is an issue with the gender role. And that's where even with women, when I'm working couples and I'll see them individually, I'll be like, you got to kind of give him a say in it. And, I know he's passive and goes along with it, but I don't think he's in full agreement. I can't remember this couple specifically, but I remember the incident where she made like 2 or 3 times him and I asked him first session, I was like, oh, and you do okay? Oh, yeah, I do okay. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. But then over time, because he's convinced himself he's okay with it. But over time, the arguments kept coming up where you'd see this guy fighting for, like, to be recognized, to be heard. Like, you don't include me in this and stuff. So it's not, the finance typically comes with a certain level of like, well, I'm bringing this in, and so, but you're spending, copious amounts on this side activity for yourself. Then it becomes like an issue, right?
So she's bringing in the money, and he's just spending it.
And which I often see is, I'm like, is that a rebellion? Is that a way to hurt? Like either I always question it. Like, are you compensating with purchasing of other things to try to be more justifying the situation, or are you in a way getting back at her? See, that's a very deep thing to get to.
Yeah.
We can't get to that right away. That takes a long time to reflect on and be like, dang, am I really doing that? And many people don't get there because they're not willing to see that part of themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks is, at some point, especially in couples therapy, you kind of just get to a point where they're not going to see these deeper things, but yet we've kind of gone as far as we can go, so we're going to end. But this is going to keep showing up. And that's always what's sad is you're like, I mean, does everybody get to the depth they need to? No. But ones that do, you really walk away with like, I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to make it, like till death do us part kind of thing.
Yeah.
But some you're like, once those kids leave the house.
What's the percentage you see in this opinion? Like you see, you walk away, and you're like it'll be all right. It's just a ballpark. This is opinion. Like,
honestly, the most, because there's already a statistic, a skewed statistic, because those that seek therapy already, they're already willing, for the most part, to do something. Now, one's often drugged there. Yeah. Typically, it is the man drugged there. But if you can find a point to which they agree on, like, hey man, do you like your life going this way? Well, no, I don't. Well, here's how I'm going to help you get it to a point where it'll be better. But you realize some people in mental health, they don't really want things better. They want the world to change. I want her to change. I want him to change. I don't want to change.
To fit my narrative.
So when I say couple, that's why I like couples so much, because you get these two people that you're like, you got to change. Even if you believe you're 100% right, you got to change too. Whoa, I didn't sign up for all that. And that's where some will leave. I've had couples that never saw me again. I didn't like what he had to say. And the funny thing is I play off my narrative. Like the men see me, like, oh yeah, we'll see that therapist, right? Then they get to me and like, oh man, this dude's like getting it.
It's so close though, This is a guy. I gotta do self work.
Yeah.
I gotta do what? I gotta dig deeper on my spending, like you said, overcompensate for whatever.
Yeah.
I gotta look at myself. No, it's about her.
Yep.
Yeah, it's about her. Me.
We're also talking about feelings, like, feelings. You just get so like, feelings. And I've had guys that looked at me straight up, smart dudes too. That's what's crazy. I work with dudes from, surgeons, right? PhDs and from Harvard and stuff like that. These people, I got no business sitting in the room with these people. Their whole life has been academia. These are genius level people. Yeah. But all of a sudden I ask them to reflect on themselves. Totally blind. Yeah. Totally blind. And that's why I'll sit with anybody now. Yeah. Before my career, they're like, well, I graduated from Harvard, this and this. I'm like, oh, shoot, Luke. They're going to, Even psychologists themselves. I got a psychiatrist I see that genius level dude. And, just help them with emotions and regulation. And I'm not you in a therapy session. I'm not you. I'm not in your head. I'm not knowing how your brain's working. I'm an observer. And with a couples, you get more context, right? And so then you get all this data and you feed it back to people. It seems like, oh, you guys seem to be doing this kind of pattern. Oh, yeah, I guess we do. Ones that want to change, they'll change the pattern.
It will.
It takes work to do that.
Yeah, it does. So I was wondering, because we talked about the gender shifting with the woman and the relationship with the woman as the breadwinner. And how men accept that. I wonder if it's a question of expectation now, because the man has always been deemed as the provider. So now you got a woman who's bringing home the bacon, more than enough, and now they'll develop these spending habits. So like you're saying, is that some sort of rebellion now because that provider jacket has been taken off of them, so to say, because they don't have to bring in the money because she's doing it. So now what is it left for me to do? If she's bringing home the money and everything is secure financially around her here because of her contribution. Of course, I'm doing what I do to add to the pot, but would you think a man is feeling less than now because that burden's been taken off of him? And he's acting that way? You think that may be the issue, that he feel like I'm no longer considered a provider?
What am I then?
What am I then?
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Right? So that issue can't be left alone, because then to the opposite, you got the guy making the six figures, and then he gets upset because I'm just a bank account.
Yeah.
You want that? Because that's not any better.
Yeah.
I work with those guys.
Yeah.
I am the bank account. I provide for the private school. I provide for the big house. I provide all this stuff. But then they come home and everyone's living the life that he provided for, and no one's checking on him. Yeah. That's its own hell.
He's dying over here.
He's dying over here, right? Whereas if a man leans into that, all right, she makes more money. All right, cool. You know what I can do? I can be an integral part of this child's development and raising, because I have the freedom to be that. And that's what I try to get guys to do is pivot into your environment.
Yeah.
Because like, even helping them learn about like the development of kids and how kids aren't based on what you say, they base their life and their brain on experience. Mm-hmm. Well, when they experience mom, she's all stressed out, right? Yeah, she's providing, but that's intellectual knowledge. Experiential knowledge is the nervous system. Like when I hear our mom, she's tense. I feel tense. That's not a good experience. So what do? We turn away from that. We turn towards the comfort. Well, that could be dad. So it's handing you riches. Yeah. By saying that, if men can pivot on that, if you're with a woman who's a physician, you're not going to be working an equal job as her. And quite honestly, you're going to have a job that matches like your ability to like care for these kids because you're going to have to pick the kids up. You're going to have to run to appointments because she can't just call the emergency room like, oh, I'm coming in, I got to run my kid to the doctor. They're like, yes, you are. Yeah. It don't work that way, right? Or a CEO of some company, bigger pay because bigger demand, and that's just what it is. Yeah. And so, men, I try to work with on saying like, you've defined yourself one way. One way. And then you can even get deeper, like, why do you think money is a provision? Why? Because there's an insecurity in there. What if I don't parent right? What if I mess this up? What if I get overwhelmed? What if I cry? Right? I want to avoid all that and just make all the money. I just want to go to work, make the money, but then all of a sudden those people, the kids get old, people start leaving, and they're just like, I don't have much of a relationship. Yep. And I also talk to the kids of those dads. Yeah, no, dad, the money that he provided is not very remembered. It's like, oh, my dad, I'm going to tell me about your dad. It's never, dad made so much money, bro. We had such a good life. Dad, King God statue, dad, it's not like this, like this. Tell me about your dad. Well, dad wasn't around much. Oh. Well, he was kind of irritated. Oh, okay. Yeah, dad didn't say much. Dad, or we go on trips and he gets so irritated, or he'd always have to step away and work. Yeah, but he provided all this money though. Yeah, that was nice, but I didn't really have much of a relationship with him. Oh. So if wife makes more money, I try to with guys that pivot into that strength.
Yeah, that's your turn.
You've got all the opportunity to be that dad that you never had. That you can be. You can learn about it, with therapy, like how do I become this dad? And you can just be like rich in like the availability to be there for your kids. Like I tell these CEOs or whatever, I tell them, I go, I'm the richest man in the world. I'm the richest man in the world. I got a good family. We only have one kid because I knew my limits. I have 3 brothers, so I knew my parents' stress with raising us 4 boys. And I'm not even the tallest of my brothers, and I'm 6'5". So we're big kids. My mom would talk about the grocery store, laugh, like, okay, mom, whatever. Now, paying for just a household of 3, me being there, I'm like, golly, how did my mom even feed us? She could pound of lunch meat, 1 pound, for 4 boys. 1 kid would make a sandwich, boom, gone. Okay. Right? Yeah. Wouldn't always be me either. But point being, like, you got to change your lens. Be like, dude, you are rich. You get to provide for them. Think about this. If you're in a big condo, in New York City, penthouse, 20 million to live in, you got products, you got all the nice stuff, right, whatever. And then one day, it all falls. It all falls, your bank falls, whatever. Now you guys are living impoverished. That is a tragedy, we see, right? But it's not. It's a funny sitcom if the parents are good, well bonded and well understanding of each other and can talk it through. Like, all right, kids, look like the adventure's shifted course. Yeah. We're going from this to this kind of crap area, right?
Bread and water.
And so now it's like, oh, well, things are adjusting. It's going to be hard, but we're not hard on each other. And that's where I think men can do a lot of work in understanding, like, if you're defining yourself or if you're fused, acceptance and commitment therapy uses the term fused. If you're fused to one identity and that identity is threatened, some people will kill themselves. There's people when they make all that money and all of a sudden they lose it, they'll kill themselves. They'll straight up. 2008, the economic decline, it hit California real hard. These people talk about it like it was a trauma. Like, 2008, oof. COVID's like whatever, 2008 financial decline. They're like it's a trauma. Divorce has happened, this and this. I'm like, because we lost money? Because we lost money.
I think it's good to step in that role. Beneficial for my kids. Because money always, I never looked at it that way. I guess I was fortunate. but I was ignorant to a lot of my stuff. But to experience that, step in that role, like you said, to be there with all my kids, just about all 5 of them in one way or another. And now it's like priceless. Like we just got the riches. And to be able to step out and see that sometimes as men is hard to get frustrated.
Well, dads, some of the best dads that I've seen went through divorce. Like they themselves went through divorce. Because now, when you have kids, even half-time, right? You now are the sole parent. You get to learn about your kids. You get to understand them better. You get one-on-one time. Whereas with mom there all the time, we just fall into these complacent roles like, oh, mom runs you to the appointment or whatever. It's not a bad thing. It's just the flow of the family. Yeah. But then divorce happens. Now you got to get into place and you got to learn about them. What do they like to eat? What do they don't like to eat? Before that, you couldn't even answer those questions. All of a sudden, divorce can happen. And it can be the greatest thing that ever happened to somebody's dad. Because now they realize, like, wow, I know how much it means to be present. Whereas before, they just walk around bitter, fighting with this spouse, all burned out, right? Holding on to this one narrative. Now all of a sudden, you're thrown into this situation. You got to perform.
Yeah. You got to learn everything. Like, so what they eat, what they don't like.
Some go the other way, it gets worse, but many go a good way. I've seen a lot of great dads that showed up out of divorce. I've seen people in the beginning of the end of a marriage, then all of a sudden they divorce, and I keep seeing the dude. I never saw the couples, but I saw this dude who's in the end of marriage, goes through divorce. Now he's a year into this divorce, and sure, there's still horrible proceedings with the ex, but his ability, his transformation into this dad. Where before he was provider. Yeah. Like, it's just amazing to me. And I tear up when I think about it, because like these little girls he sees, I'm so happy for them. That they get, especially as girls, they get this dad that's present, gives them that attention that they're going to set their standard against when they start seeing people. Mm-hmm. Right? But if dad's not there, dad's not present, even in a marriage, right? Or dad's working too much, what partner is she going to pick? Someone who's the same as dad. Or somebody finally give them attention. Even if they're abusive. They finally they gave me attention. Hear it all the time, like, dang. It's all it took. Even a sociopath, narcissist, antisocial, just, She's like, wow, eye contact? Amazing. Dad never looked me in the eye.
So have you came across a lot of fathers who've been through the divorce and now has to be the provider and has to be emotionally available? And that reason I ask that because sometimes when you're in marriage you don't have to be emotionally available sometimes to your kids because the mother's there. But now that you got custody, you have to play both roles. So provider, you've been doing that, but now I got a daughter now. Now I have to be emotionally available. And I wasn't as emotionally available with my wife, but now I got my little baby girl here, and I'm her everything now. Like you said, I'm God to her now. So I have to be emotionally available. How can I adapt to that now?
With that, I try to relate it back to, because we're experiential creatures. We can only associate with something we've experienced. We learn based on experience. And so, when we're tiny babies, we don't have any experience, right? What do we learn as babies? Babies learn things and then adapt very, very quickly. The brain's just picking stuff up like crazy. We as adults, we think we know best and we quit learning, right? So it's always good to be open-minded. So what I try to help, fathers do is connect with their own childhood. Now, they don't want to go there. They think that's cliche, right? Well, why are we going to do childhood here? But in couples, I do it too, because you got to understand that, they've done research, more and more research on personality, and we've discovered most of our personality is genetic. It wasn't just environmental. We're not an all neutral coming out. We have genetics from our parents, but then their parents, and their parents. It's all passed along, right? And then for the first 5 years before we're even self-aware, we're getting this environmental, schooling on who we are as people. Well, if our parents don't pay much attention to us, or they're always tense, whatever, by 5, 6 years old, we're already forming an identity of we already start to not pay attention to our needs. We start to pay attention to mom's need or dad's angry needs. So we start to adjust to that parent, right? And then we start to become externally focused for the sake of self-preservation, right? So I try to help dads connect back into their own childhood. Like, tell me about your dad growing up, right? And they'll first start out protecting the father by, well, dad was good, blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, cool. I'm like, is there anything that you remember that was like rough or anything like that? Because the worst thing that happens in childhood is, as children, we normalize our circumstance. That's just what it is. It's not until you get old, you're like, oh, dang, I didn't get something. And that's why I'm short today. And so trying to help them put themselves in their kids' shoes by asking what their childhood was like, so that they can naturally start to become empathetic towards that kid, because they can remember. I remember when I was talked to like this, when my ideas were discounted, and now I can give them that space naturally, not just, oh, therapist said give them the space. Okay, I'm giving you space. I'm giving you space, right? And so, not that you have to be in tune with all the emotions, but the emotions can naturally be allowed to exist when you're willing to see some of the own shortcomings and pain that you felt.
Yeah. Makes sense. Because, at some point, you can only blame dad for so much before you have to look at him and see his background. You know what I mean? For a long time as a kid and as an adult, I used to resent my dad a bit, get a little upset, because I think about, as a kid, we never really did anything as far as football games or any type of outings like that, just me and him, because he was a workaholic. So my dad would get off, he'll go to work early in the morning, get off, and go to his second job. The weekends, he's free, he's in the bed, resting up. So, as an adult looking at that, I'm like, man, me and dad really didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? But I never had to worry about anything. If when I remember getting the first job, he picking me up every night. When I got my first car, if anything was to happen, he's the first person I called, and he was Johnny on the spot. But as far as the time spent that I wish we could have did, because the money and all that, like you said, that really didn't matter to me. Just looking back at the time that was lost, I kind of felt some type of way just thinking back. And then to give him some grace, I think about how his dad was, you know what I mean? And how he was raised. His mom died when he was 6. So he was primarily raised by his old man. And his dad probably was out of Mississippi in the Delta, so I'm sure he was working. And my dad probably was doing whatever he had to do until dad came home, you know what I mean? Going to school or whatever. So now, with him just following the cycle and then think back and address it, here I am, trying to break the chain. Hence why my kids are with me now. I'm like, man, I see what he was going through. I see the pattern. His dad wasn't there. He probably was working, doing whatever. And he's doing what he learned. So now for me, I can go on and continue the cycle. Or I can stop it. And I can designate time to spend with my kids and get out so they can remember that, because I don't remember the money spent. I just remember the time it wasn't. You know what I mean? So that's a goal for me, just to be present with them now, because they won't remember the Nintendo Switch or the PlayStation 5.
Or the subscriptions.
Yeah,
right.
But they will remember us going to the park getting ice cream. They will remember us going to the skating rink or whatever else. And hopefully they won't feel like I did at one point before I just recognized it and addressed it for myself.
The thing what you said is, if any therapist ever has you stop on blaming your parents, they're not good. Not a good therapist. Yeah. You never, right away, what you just did is beautiful. You don't blame. You understand. So you can, when we talk about childhood, it's about you recognizing the development that you had.
Yeah.
It's not about the parents and blaming them. Now, there might be a stage you go through where there is some anger. Like, dang, why didn't he adjust? Yeah. All right, you can have that space, right? The healing cycle involves a little bit of anger at first. That's okay. But if you get stuck on this blaming your parents type of thing, that's crap. Yeah. Like, now there's people that can take a distance from their parents so they can, like, especially if they're currently still triggering them and whatnot. That can be a really healthy thing. But it's never to say, blame them, whatever, because like you just did. Well, you realize your dad had a dad. Mm-hmm. He did the best he could with what he had. Your dad knew, provide. Mm-hmm. God bless him for it. Mm-hmm. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because we haven't even learned the psychology. Our parents, this is what we're talking about. Our generation's first connecting with. Next generation will be more and more. Now, mental health, they take it too far and it's an excuse for everything. But I think we'll grow more and more in how to better understand and approach each other. But our parents, my dad, truck driver. Been a truck driver his whole life. That I've known. He's doing trucking business. He still drives. He's 72 years old. Right? Do I have memories of him? Yeah, I have memories. We'd go to the lake or whatever. But I remember even growing up, I remember one time being like, oh, Dad's not here. So I'm like, well, yeah, he's got to work. I just knew that, right? I never blamed him for that. And were there things that I didn't get? For sure. Just like my daughter will say one time to her therapist, I always joke, right? But, if it ever stops on, blame my parents, blame my dad. No. The point is to understand what you didn't get so you can reconcile that child that didn't get it. And be like, you know what? Because one exercise I do with people that can get emotional is I ask people, I go, all right, get in the time machine, you today, and go back to that kid at whatever age you can think of. 7, 8 years old, when Dad wasn't there. And you get to give that kid now what they didn't get. You get to give that kid attention, hug, listen to him talk. You're the parent today of that kid. Right? And I know this sounds all hippie, but it can be really healing to reconcile that pain, to recognize like he did the best he could with what he had. He did do these things. I do still wish that stuff was there, but it's not. And so what can I do today as a learning lesson from that? My mom, God bless her, she would get so angry. I'd see her teeth grit in the mirror for everything. Now she had 4 boys, and I recognized we were alive. That woman worked overnights, and we were tough. We were tough kids. And she would just get, not to mention working overnights, she'd be so, I imagine she was so tired all the time, just hanging on by a shoestring. And so, once I got over my whole poor me, I was like, oh, she did the best she could. Now, do we still have the best relationship now? No, because we just see things differently, right? But point being is you learn from the past about yourself. It never should stop on. I'm totally against that because that leads you to bitterness. The world owes me something, resentment. Or parents come to their kids, oh, I never got this. Now the kid feels guilty about having stuff that you provided. Because if we do it right, our kids will never know the work we did to provide for them what we never had. My daughter doesn't even know what me and Mom, it's me and Rachel, we'll look at each other sometimes and be like, she didn't even know. She didn't even know if she would talk that way, I told Rachel, hey Rachel, what happens if you talk to your dad that way? She goes, I can't even fathom saying that stuff. And I'm not saying my daughter gets to say whatever she wants, but I can understand emotions, being tired. I'm like, you're tired. This ain't you. Like, what you need to learn about yourself is that you're tired. And when you're tired, you're short, irritable, and maybe you need to eat something.
Yeah. I mean, just like they say, when you don't understand your emotions and pain, you pass it on. So at some point, you're just going to have to stop and recognize it and stop those bad cycles and bad patterns before you just push it on to the next generation and then it's going to continue.
And a practical step on that, a do step is to acknowledge it. Man, I'm real frustrated right now. I have told my daughter before when she'd like really be at me, I'd be like a 9 out of 10. I'd be like, sweetheart, I'm so frustrated right now. I'm just so overwhelmed right now. Me even just vocalizing that lets A, her know where I'm at. And B, it also, when you take emotions and you verbalize them, they become a thing now. And people think that's a weakness. Oh, he got me frustrated. Well, I'm acknowledging it. That's powerful. That's a powerful thing where I'm really sad right now, or I'm really tired right now, or I'm just feeling really lonely, or I just feel abandoned. Like, and that's what, it's good to acknowledge, be like, man, I don't know why, I'm just feeling really just like, even something that's not even a good emotional expression, I feel just dark right now. Like some days after sessions all day, and especially with the socio-political climate, I'll just get out of session and be like, oh, it's dark. It's dark right now. I can't just go upstairs and be like, what up, fam? What up? I'm just like, it's just a lot. So I like to cook the dinners after my sessions because it kind of gives me a little like grounding. And then I'm providing a meal. And even if she don't eat it, I still cook the meal and provide it. The principle was we cook meals, we eat them together at the dinner table. She's like, I don't like this. I'm like, well, I did my job.
Right.
I cooked the meal and I provided it.
Yeah. And also just verbalizing how you're feeling right now with the kids. I mean, it's a learning opportunity for them as well. So hopefully with them seeing parent, dad, being vocal about, man, I'm stressed out right now. I'm not feeling good. They're learning from that. So I feel like they're learning to express themselves too. And it's okay. You know, once they see dad, like my son, like I tell him I'm not feeling well. Now he sees the man of his life expressing himself. Hopefully he can take from that, and instead of keeping it bottled in, he could also tell somebody.
It's normalized.
It's normalized now. So that's a start at least breaking the trend of the super masculine man where he thinks he has to keep everything bottled up until it gets to that boiling point where he can't control it now and he's blowing up on somebody. And he could be more in touch with his emotional side.
Does it give a pause when you say that too?
Yeah.
Whatever it may be, it gives your kid pause to think.
Yeah, it gives them a chance to think about
see
it
their
and
brain turning.
Yeah. Be like, okay, I'm not feeling well. So next time, it could already been a time in his life where he wasn't feeling well. He just wasn't vocal about it. So now, with that, he can turn around the next time he'll be able to say something. And let a person know how he's feeling.
My son does that too. Like he'll say, "What's up, man?" Because I always say, "What's up, man?" I guess I say it too much.
Yeah.
But he'll hit me with that like about 4 or 5 times. So then I know that he knows. Like I'm not you know what's up, man? Like something ain't right. Yeah. Even with the 9-year-old Ella now, she's about to be 10. But like you said, you tell her like I'm frustrated. Now she sees the look on my face, and now she slows everything down. And she's like, "Well, let me help you do this." Like it's helping her. Like dad needs help now, you know, like he's not in it by himself, so it gives her empathy and willing to help, which I've seen that grow over the years, and even him, like all the what's ups, you know, but then eventually I gotta break down, like, you hit me with the one more what's up, man, it's like, it's about to be on, but then it's like, well, you know, this is what's happening.
But if you have the belief you need to bottle it up, that could be a real challenging phrase. How dare the youth, you know, see something about me that I don't see, right? And that's why a lot of men don't respond well because they feel challenged. The younger buck thinks that they know me better, right? And so it's a challenge when you want to keep it all up because if they keep asking, you might actually leak something imperfect.
Yeah.
There's actually a diagnosis, alexithymia, that actually is the inability to identify and interpret emotions. And it's becoming more and more prevalent because you ask somebody how they're feeling. I did the VA before I knew this diagnosis. I asked guys, how are you feeling? Not a feeling would come out. A lot of thoughts would come out. How you feel? I'm going to punch a guy in the face. Sure. That's an action. That's thought. What were you feeling? And they could not do it. And I get so frustrated. Like, he's playing me. Then I learned more about it. I was like, oh my gosh, these guys probably never once were asked, like, how are you feeling? How are you feeling right now? Like, tense? Hungry? How you feeling? They'll do the safe ones. Angry. Angry said, I'm angry. You hurt? Your feelings hurt? You sad a little bit? You reflect on your life. That's the thing about sobriety. Because many people get sober, they have to really reflect on their life. Many people want to avoid that at all costs. Because dang, do I really want to face all that?
Brutal. Very dark and brutal. I enjoyed it though.
I did that.
Well, I enjoyed it sober. No, not over, but I'm that part. Because sober, like with 5 years now, it's just, you have to go through everything you did. But to have a brotherhood like we had, like I had, I was fortunate. Because I've had that already. I had cell. And I knew I met you before, but I had my brotherhood. But when I seen everybody else didn't have one, it made me understand like that's what they're lacking. Because without mine, what would I would have been?
Community. You had community.
Yeah.
You had community, and that's where the friendship thing sucks. And then we don't keep friendships very well. I heard this joke once, and it was the funniest joke to me. It says, you know what the hardest thing to believe about Jesus was? Of all the things he did, walked on water, food for 5,000, the hardest thing to believe about Jesus, he had 12 friends as a 32-year-old male.
Huh.
He had 12 close friends as a 32-year-old male. And I laughed, and I'm like, oh yeah, 12 friends? 12 close friends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's only God. Because it's imagine me at, I'm 40 now, but I was like, yeah, I mean, I might have had close acquaintances when I was younger in college or high school, right? But like a group of like, if someone's like, all right, you're going with a group of dudes you want a ticket, you and 4 of your friends going to, like, you ever seen those game shows? Mm-hmm. You and 4 of your closest friends are going on a trip. I'm like, dang.
You trying to think of before?
Who are we thinking of? Who's coming?
Who's coming?
Who do I want to spend a week with on the trip? Right?
But just with that, like, but Jesus, like, how close they were, like, he can ask them to do something, and they would actually do it. Like, because they had trust and faith in one another that they would do it.
And then it does model friendship. There's ups and downs. There's a lot of arguments in the group of 12, because with 12 people, you're going to have disagreements.
Yeah, who's your favorite?
Right. Yeah. And so, I'm just saying, it's hard to have friendships because a lot of people don't know how to be vulnerable or set our boundaries and say like, oh man, let's go, let's get some coffee, and you're kind of already strung out through a work day or whatever, and it's just like, well, I can sever that. I can sever that to save time with family. That's a noble thing. But at some point, you're like, gosh, I got to invest in that friendship category at some point. Mm-hmm. So I like when people like move or have like an event, or my buddy Jordan. We don't do a lot together, but when there's an event, like he'll be like, oh, this artist he listens to, like, oh, he's having a concert in Omaha. And I'll be like, all right, let's go. Sometimes I don't make it, but it helps me to have like an event. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, I can plan that in, I can get that in there, versus just day to day, like text conversations or whatever. Like, I don't have any of that. Yeah. Cause I don't text back a lot of times. I'm busy in the moment.
Right. Yeah, me too.
I think they're fortunate to have you as a barber, and to be able to sit in your chair. Like I remember when we first moved here, when I sat there, I never went nowhere else. But anyways, like everybody that sees you, they don't know like how much I see it when I just sit there and wait. Like how much they leave with, like that upbuilt spirit and that energy of being heard. Yeah. And you being able to reflect back some validated points to them, and I don't think they understand what they just got when they leave. So they're fortunate enough to have you, I know, as a barber, and then you as a therapist. Like that's like fundamentally groundbreaking for men. They have no idea the tools they leave with.
Yes.
I think they kind of discount that sometimes.
I think sometimes the environment plays a role. I mean, I think men will probably open up more if they're in a masculine environment. You know what I mean? 50-50, I guess.
50-50.
A masculine environment, now they can let the hair down and
air it out.
Yeah. So
that's why I won't see a lot of I'll in my career I won't see a lot of the guys that could benefit, because it's not known as a masculine environment therapy.
Yeah.
It's known to be more on the feminine side of things. And so typically it's something that gets them drug in, where the wife's upset or whatever. And that's why I went to California, because I really liked how they treated mental health there. People would go not just in crises, but just as like boosters of mental health. It's kind of a way to like get through some stuff. Midwest men, I have a difficult time. I think some of that masculinity, they'll come to me in crises, and then once that initial crisis just passed, right? Or they can say they went to therapy, but they went like 3 sessions. It's harder to keep Midwest men longer to really build that relationship, because it was like, well, here's the guy I'm going to see to change things. And what I'm trying to do is build a relationship, like Marcel does, because if you don't have a relationship with somebody, you can't just tell them anything.
Mm-hmm. No, they gotta work up to that.
You might.
If they make it that long, right? Yeah.
That's why you gotta do a subtle, you can challenge at the right time.
Yeah.
And even say something like, even something objective, like, well, what do you think she's thinking? And like, what do you mean when she's thinking? She's wrong.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Right.
Yeah, he did.
They won't say that, but they'll give a look like, no, this is my venting session.
Yeah.
So those people, you just like, all right, let them vent.
Yeah.
Maybe like for me, it'd be like maybe in a couple months.
Yeah.
Couple months sometimes. I'll be like, well, it doesn't seem like it's going too well. It's not. I'm like, anything you can do? We should open a little tiny door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving them power. Like, was there anything you can do? Well, I'm like, here, let me tell you something. Boom, I interject a little bit of just knowledge. Like, I didn't know that. If they're open. Now right there can be like, I'm telling you, there's been so many times I've listened to venting for months. I'm like, what is the point of this? Then one session shows up, and there it's just like, I'm like, well, yeah, man, that's what you do. I'm like, what do you mean that's what I do? I go, well, you don't really listen that well. Like, what? I'm like, yeah. You talk a lot, but you don't listen very much.
But you didn't know that.
Yeah, they're like, well, no one ever said that to me. Like, because they leave.
Yeah.
No one's ever given me that feedback for, but they just leave your life. They're like, never mind. Right?
Yeah, sometimes you gotta challenge their narrative, I guess. I mean, and in a way, like you said, I'd probably drop a little nugget just to cause them to think. Like, what do you do? I mean, what are you doing to cause them to think? You think, you know what I mean? And then they'll start rambling off. It could be this, that, or that. So you weren't thinking like that before. You know what I mean? So now it caused you to come up with maybe 3 or 4 possibilities of something that you could be doing that's stirring the pot. And that's the reason it's not working out for you at home or whatever.
Or friendship, or work, or with your kids, right?
So I mean, if you got a friend and he's the one that want to do all the talking about him, of course, who want to sit around and listen to you talk about you all the time?
All the time.
So with you not even recognizing that you're doing that, if somebody comes drop a little nugget, now you're like, man, that might be it. Maybe I just need to shut up and listen.
And that's why therapy is good, because it's profound therapy. It's in that moment I can say something and I'll be like, what just happened there? And if I say, well, how are you contributing to it? I go, what just happened? Tell me what just happened. And they'll be like, well, I'm kind of pissed. Like, I just told you all the stuff that she does, and you didn't ask me this question, what can I do? I'm like, well, she ain't here right now.
Yeah.
You are. So I'm trying to give you power. I'm trying to say you do have a say in this. You do have a say in how the next piece of the conversation goes. You can't control her, but you can control. Every time she says this, you end up saying this. Mm-hmm. Maybe you try saying something else.
Yeah.
That's not. That's a challenge to what you thought to be correct, but it's trying to help you understand. Like, you just got upset. You just got irritated that I gave feedback to you. Notice that you don't. Why would you get irritated? Why would your nervous system, your mind, get all of a sudden defensive on something?
So if you got upset if I said it, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
You know.
I like that challenge, man. Like me and Sel, me and you talk about intimate or deep challenging things with one another, because I like the feedback.
Yeah.
It gives me the part that if I'm delusional or not, though.
Right.
Or if I'm on the right
There's
track.
humility in that, though.
Yeah.
There's a humility in saying, I don't know it.
Huh?
So, okay, if you don't have humility, right, you ain't going to listen.
No.
So it requires a sense of humility. And people that don't have humility, they will go to therapy, but really they just want affirmed.
Yeah.
They just want to vent and affirmed. And at some point you can strike and be like, well, what about you? What are you doing? And then that's the part like it's interesting. You just got defensive on that.
Yeah. All of a sudden. But, yeah, I mean, and that's the purpose of brotherhood, to have a group of guys that will challenge that. I mean, I'm not trying to tear you down or nothing, man. I'm just trying to provoke thought. So you keep complaining about this, so what are you doing? I mean, have you ever even thought about it this way before you even get upset or have thoughts like that? So, I mean, why haven't you started thinking like that? You know what I mean? So, it's some things that the brotherhood is needed for, because I'm not trying to coddle you like that or spare your feelings. I just want you to recognize that it could be you, you know?
There's 2 phrases that come to mind. One is to be direct, is to be kind. Because I'm not a challenging kind of therapist. I'm not one of the therapists that can just like, boom, challenge. Like, that's just not me. I tried it artificially before, and it just does not fit, right? So, I mean, I'm always apprehensive about being too aggressive. I was actually almost kicked out of my master's program because I was listed as a bully. So that's always painfully stuck in me. Like, Luke, the way you're coming across and the way they're interpreting it, you really got to be aware, especially with like women, right, or men that want that alpha position. I'm not trying to claim anything. If anything, I'm one doctor I worked with. He was like, therapists are in the pit. We help people get out of the pit, but meanwhile we stay in it. So it's never, the VA I ran, it's not alpha. They'd be like, oh, well, you think you're going to be the man. And it's like, no, bro, it's not like that. I gain nothing from that, right? And so, when it comes to these things, it requires humility. And so for me, it's like, I think to be direct is to be kind. That helps me say, it's an act of kindness to be direct on these things. Well, here's what I'm noticing. And then just leaving it out there, right? And then love is I go with the biblical definition of love. Love is wanting good for the other person. Right? So if I say even to my wife, I love my wife, oh, it's good for her. Well, is that me? Is that me? Am I good for her? That's the question men don't ask themselves enough. Like they think about her, but like, am I good for her though? Yeah. Am I able to support or challenge or give her things for good, right? And for people that you're with. Like, if I love you, then I'm not going to let you just toil away in this pain. I can't. Even if I show you that love and you run away, it's all I can say is I can lay my head on my pillow at night and say, I did all I could. Right?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to men, just want that better good for your brother. Like, that's so hard for them to grasp sometimes because it's so repetitive. They don't they want you to get to that spotlight, but they don't want you to have it. Because it is taking their spotlight, or their, whatever they did to get you there. Like, it takes a part of them away, their work or whatever. Like, it's something that they deserve.
Yeah, exactly. It's something they deserve, they're entitled to. Again, I hold back to this identity of fusion. To fuse some identity. Something's being threatened right now. And if I'm giving you knowledge that you didn't come up with, that's a threat. So they need to get that out of there. By threatening this, by coming after the source. Well, he's not a good therapist anyways. All right, fine. If that's what you need to tell yourself to get out of this, you're gonna, I'm not saying I hear that, but I just say that, your mind can come up with all sorts of reasons as to why you can justify your narrative. We have very intellectual minds. And what it wants, it'll get.
Yeah.
So when you're doing therapy with these guys, do you ever get to a point where you ask them about having a male role model in their life, a male support system? And if not, how did it contribute to their long-term challenges with them not being able to be emotional? Or at least express their emotions, because I just believe, in my opinion, sometimes if you are raised with both parents, some men will have a better ability to express a little bit more than one that probably, or it could be the other way around. Maybe a guy who didn't have a male role model could be too emotional. And when I say too emotional, meaning that they're flying off the lid over any little thing. They get angry fast because they didn't have that male role model in their life that could be like, man, okay, I see what you're mad about, but is it that really that bad? Like you said about falling scraping your knee. You kind of need both of them. You do need that person that's gonna be like, man, look at, okay, we ain't down to the bone. I think you'll be okay. Let's go put a Band-Aid on it. And let's get back to it. So without having that dominant male role model or male role model period, do you think that's contributing to them emotionally being challenged?
Well, yeah. What do you have what's your frame of reference?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's why there's actually an exercise, and it's to help. It's like pick a character in a movie, real world, whatever, and pick a character in a movie, and tell me what traits you like about that character. Even if you pick someone as like John Wick, right? Well, John Wick, what is he? You know, he is, you know, he's smart, clever, savvy. You know, he doesn't justify things. He's a man of action. I'm sure there's lots of gunplay and also the violence and whatnot. People we grab onto that visually, but when you look at the character traits of a person, like any movie, book you read, whatever, they're going to have character traits that you want to embody. That's why we like these characters. I often tell people a character that I really, really enjoy and I can like model a lot after. It sounds silly, but it's Chewbacca.
Okay.
Because Chewbacca's been in many of the Star Wars films. This is a large, powerful Wookiee that has the ability to rip off the arms of any of those people on that ship. He's got nothing to do with this whole Force fight. Him and Han were traitors. They get jumped into this whole thing, and he's just down for the cause. He's just down. He's a side character. Chewbacca is. He's not a main. This Force has nothing to do with him. Even when Hans dies in the newer episodes, which if you haven't seen the movie, that's a spoiler, then you're already too far behind.
Yeah.
But even when Hans dies, he still sticks to the cause. Because he's got a whole planet of Wookiees. He can go back to his planet of Wookiees if he wants. Right? But he decides to stay with the cause, he's committed to this thing, and he's willing to die for it. He puts himself in danger. He's not like, woe is me, why did I do this? And that's all I'm saying is there's so many good traits of this character, this big, powerful, not speaking much character, that I just really enjoy that. Like, I just want to be down for the cause, you know?
That's almost like staying in a pit and not getting out of the pit because he just stays there, but he can climb out whenever he wants.
He can climb out what he wants. He's not in a pit mentally. Right. He's living according to what matters to him. He's committed to this cause, these people that he's made friends and relationships with. And that's one of the reasons I think we end up liking shows like Star Wars or whatever is you really look at, they're always facing death, but they're always really light about it because there's something deeper with all this. It's not this dark drama. I think, I can't remember, what is it called? It's called the space, what's Star Wars called? The space opera? I think it's called a space opera is what Star Wars is. Yeah. So it kind of gives it like why it's so dramatized. But like, I just see these situations in movies and we see characters in shows, movies, whatever, and we like these characters all because there's traits that we want to emulate. So to your role model example, I ask people, think of a character and think of the traits you like about that character. And then you can start to recognize, like, even if you're modeling after something that's not real, it's still putting in your head, like, well, what would this person do in that situation? Right?
That's a big one. I think what I always I'm trying to think of who I relate to. I know Denzel Washington's always one I relate to in The Equalizer.
Equalizer?
Yeah. Because of y'all, I'm always trying to just try to care more about the person than they really care about themselves.
Man on Fire, he did a good job of that too.
And doing things in the dark where nobody can see. Like, and don't want no clout, no certificate.
Yep, stayed out of the spotlight.
Yeah, but just watches it as it progresses and just flourishes. The seeds he plants and everything. That's why I always like that character. I looked up too.
But you look too, what characters Denzel play that, I mean, he won an Oscar for, Training Day, where he was opposite character.
Yeah.
Right? But you look at the character that keeps coming around in these movies with like Jason Statham, Denzel, these movies just keep coming out. Like if you go on Amazon Prime, you'll see all these Jason Statham movies that keep coming out. It's the same character over and over because that's a character that like emulates strength, independence, savvy, smart, down for some deeper cause.
The Devil in the Blue Dress was the same way.
What's that?
The Devil in the Blue Dress. Denzel was the same way in there too. How he was helping out trying to find a girl even though he was kind of forced to. Yeah. But he did the same traits like you said. Always, except Training Day.
But that's what I'm saying. We like those traits. We want to see those traits. Denzel, Keanu Reeves, those are characters we like. We hear other things about them. We like these people. right? Or the depiction of what these people are even as actors. Like, we want to see Keanu Reeves in movies. Is he the best actor? No, he's not. But when he shows up, and then as he's gotten older, he's like even kind of made like fun of himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's willing to be the butt of the joke. Like, you think Keanu Reeves is in one of the SpongeBob movies. You know which one? He's in one of the SpongeBob movies. He's in the clamshell.
Oh, yeah, Tumbleweed.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves don't got to jump in the SpongeBob movie, but he does.
Yeah.
He did Toy Story.
Yeah.
Right? He's a funny character. I'm just saying he's like willing to like kind of like laugh at himself too, but otherwise he's a pretty serious character. But everyone's heard about Keanu Reeves. You know, his wife or ex-wife or whatever died. And he's got a tragic past. He gives money to homeless. He donates money to causes. Like, we hear these things. We just want to see this guy do stuff.
He actually makes fun of that new movie on Netflix. Was it with the two people? He's in the hotel room. He's actually dating this girl. I think it's when they reconnect out of high school, and he plays like John Wick. Like, I know everything. So they go to hell. They start getting hammered, and he's just challenging this dude this whole time while he's hanging out with this girl. But that's every Keanu Reeves movie he played. Even the Time Machine. Like, he does every character in that movie. I can't remember what the movie. Me and Dallas watched it, but it was a Netflix original. But he's just a cameo, but he plays every part, even Point Break, I think, to a point.
That's, what movie is that? You gotta look that movie up. I want to see that.
Always Be My Maybe.
Yeah, Always Be My Maybe. Yep. He just plays his...
Yeah, he plays every role that he ever plays. Yeah, and he's challenging, but he's like really serious, though, like who he is.
That's hilarious. I can see that. Man. I can see it, because anybody who can goof... I got feedback from one of my first jobs as a therapist, and the first thing she said to me is, well, one of your strengths is you're always willing to be the butt of the joke. At the time, I was like, is that the best feature I got? But then over time, I was like, you know what? I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that because one of the psychologists at the VA, he's been there for 50-some years, Dr. Keller. Yeah, his 50-year mark. 50 years this dude's been a psychologist at this same VA, right? You want to listen to what that man has to say. They go, what are some words of advice? He says two things. He goes, you know, how do you see all these people after 50 years? He goes, you got to love them. You got to find love for them. And the second one is don't take yourself too seriously. And that, take yourself too seriously is where a lot of people get stuck, especially men.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm serious. Jeez, man, like, chill out. Right?
He still runs the anger classes up there, too. I sat in on one of those. It was... The guys have no idea who they're talking to.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. People be like, oh, I know this older doctor. I don't even know if he's still, functional. I'm like, Dr. Keller? Yeah. I'm like, bro, you don't even know.
Yeah, no idea.
There's more wisdom that he's forgot than most of us will ever have.
And he's so willing to share, but he's so humble about it still. And like I said, love. I talk to him every other Tuesday still. Just because I don't have to. But I look forward to it. I got micropigmentation. Like, I really don't need a haircut, but I go see Marcel. Like, and then
I could go without.
Yeah, I mean, I've done the work, but I go, like, that's...
You keep yourself ingrained into places that you work.
Yeah, but the challenge you got, and then, like, Dr. Keller, like, the gyms, and that's like a brotherhood. That's what I see brotherhood. That's brotherhood to me, is that.
Yeah. So, how do you think brotherhood helps form healthy relationships?
They helped me get to mine, because without your feedback, the honesty that y'all gave me to be the butt of the joke, I'm cool with that. Like, well, James can do it, man. Today ain't gonna be bad at all. Yeah, I can afford bread. I think that was a joke when we was cutting down a tree yesterday, for whatever reason, because my buddy came home and cut a tree down. And we did it for the renters because, be issue, but anyway. But the brotherhood to me, that's my jam. That's what gives me my strength. That's my superpower within each other, because we're willing to be honest and vulnerable with each other. Yeah. And that's what I love about it. I won't take it for granted, because I take and it's hard to find that. But then it's hard to find the genuine brotherhood too, though. Like I mean, it wasn't hard for me to find, because you can usually, like you say, energy. Usually, you can find who fakes it.
For you as a person, it's not right, because you're more open. If someone's more close-minded, like, I can't find any friends. I'm like, you want to be friends with you?
Yeah.
Let me talk to you? Like that sounds so cold, but I'm like, bro, like, I don't enjoy our conversations and you're paying me. So, like, I can't stay here for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I can rarely say that because to that kind of person, they're so blind to the part of themselves. I'm like, you gotta understand, man, you're not very fun to talk to. Not because you don't much to talk about, because you're just like not talking at all.
Yeah.
Like, so how's your life? Good? Good.
Good.
What am I supposed to do good?
Yeah. What am I supposed to do with that?
Oh, I had breakfast. Tasty.
Yeah. Swallowed it.
No substance to it.
No substance.
But that's also a pattern, I believe, maybe it does go back to, mental health. I mean, these days, there's been this overwhelming influx of on the spectrum kind of people, like, oh, they got autism. It's, in my world, it's profound, but because you meet these people, they're just not connecting. Like, when I have a conversation, we'll look at this specifically, we're doing back and forth, right? I'm reading facial expressions, and like we're going back and forth, whereas you're getting so many guys, I really think they're just so out. I don't think it's necessarily autism on the spectrum. I just think they got so far out of like what it means to be in any sort of relationship. They just don't even know how to have a conversation anymore.
Yeah.
So therapy can be like, let's have a conversation. Because what they'll start out with, here are my problems for the week. I'm like, yeah. Anyways, did you see that game the other night? You ever seen that one movie? Like, no. Oh, you should check it out. It's a good movie. What movies you seen lately? Trying to, hey, this is how we converse.
Yeah. And that's what school kids I deal with. Like the guys, like I told them, like with me early, just build this network because you're gonna need it. Life's gonna be hard. You're 20 years old, but like you said, there's just no. So they don't even know how to function. No conversation at all. Zero. No movies. No. Yeah. No. Well, you did your coding last week. We did our homework. It's all about like black and white paperwork. Like they're hollow.
Socialization. Yeah, we're also all trying to strive and succeed because the world is this pressure cooker of like, you better succeed, otherwise, meanwhile you do overlook the community aspect. That, for men especially, that provider, and this push comes to shove, the first thing that's most important to you is going to come out. So if you could have a conversation with somebody that lingers longer, right, Marcel, then, but it potentially crosses over into another person's time, and it's like, you always get that push comes to shove, right? Like what's gonna win out here? And providing, I think, wins out, and then it puts that other stuff in the backseat, which is okay for a time. But then at some point you gotta be like, dang, I haven't done like any investment into that social area of my life, that brotherhood area. You gotta that's why I think it's good to have regular meetings, almost like we do this thing Wednesday nights. The Bible studies are a big deal because it helps people schedule this time and these people come together. The scripture is obviously the center, but often when they talk about these small groups or whatever, it's the fact that these people came together.
Yeah, for emotional support. And that right there may reduce some isolation. So it will reduce isolation because now you're out with a men's group at church, and you can sit around and joust about whatever, for the most part. So, yeah. That's
well, last year, the World Health Organization came out with like one of the biggest, threats to health I think they do, and it's loneliness.
Loneliness, yeah.
Number one, loneliness. Yeah. So obviously it's a guy issue, but girl issue as well. People are lonely, right? And why are they lonely? Like you can be around a bunch of people and still be lonely, right? Have we forgotten how to just share? How to just, be together? Are we willing to deal with differing opinions? Are we willing to just speak? Or for me in the mental health world, I filter everything from words to any connotations. If I have a black man sitting in front of me on the screen, my mind's like, all right, don't acknowledge like certain words that I might think are okay, but then aren't okay because I don't know what's not okay anymore. I don't know what indicates not okay. I just want to talk, but my mind's so filtered by, well, I don't want to offend, but then if I say something that could be offensive or stereotypical, then it's going to be just, regular white dude messing up, doesn't get it. And I'm like, but I don't get it. I'm not walking in your shoes, right? So I admit that, but it seems so like, see, I knew it, wouldn't get it. And it's so hard because you just want to speak freely. You don't want to offend, but I think that's one of the things too, is people have gotten they've just gotten guarded because, well, that person has different political beliefs, religious beliefs, that means we can't talk anymore.
I mean, we're living in a highly emotional society. I mean, we try our best not to offend anyone. You know what I mean? Because it's highly emotional. We try not to offend anyone but God.
Then you get then you get so censored, right? Then you start avoiding defending anything. I feel like sometimes.
What's wrong with being offended? I mean, at the end of the day, it's something I'll try to avoid, but it's a part of life.
It is. It is. I mean, nothing wrong with it. I mean, me, I look at it on the other side. It could come off as being healthy. Now it just causes you to look at what you're being offended over, and is it worth being offended?
And why?
You give it power.
Yeah.
You give the offense power. You know what I mean? So I mean,
because being successful in life, I don't hate it, but I mean, like when you do so much good and overcome so much, like, and you don't start getting offended, like I know that then you stop growing. I think because then you stop looking, like you said, looking inside.
yeah.
Because what I'm not getting offended by why, and then I grow, but I think they shut that off, huh? Because then they don't want to grow.
Yeah.
It's scary.
I just think as men we get older, loneliness. I mean, I believe, like you said, you could be with somebody and still be lonely. I'm not saying you're not lonely in certain areas, but just lonely in friendship. I mean, lack of support, financial insecurity can cause you to feel lonely. You know, if you ain't got people you can lean on that could help you out from time to time if you need it. So, and like it says here, declining health, fewer social services that are tailored for men to go out and be around, you know, people that they can relate with. And I mean, and then going back on the conversation you had about friends and you know, you were saying the guy said you don't have any friends, but sitting there talking with him for 20 minutes, you like, would you want to be friends with you? You know, so sometimes, I mean, as you get older, you have to change. You have to have a paradigm shift on some things, man. I mean, if you look at it, you ain't got no friends. I mean, when you start to question why I don't have any friends, and what can I do to at least make friends with people that I can relate to, or go to places where those type of people are that I like to hang around, hang at, to make friends. So, again, like, as a man, it says in the scripture, every man should examine himself at some point. I feel like I really do believe in that, man. You do have to, at some point, go look in the mirror and take an inventory of yourself in your life and just see where you at, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So you won't, or at least try to avoid having the feeling of loneliness. I mean, because something you already see it coming before it actually just hit the wall with it. I mean, if you ain't got no friends now, you gotta wait till 15 years out or however long before you be like, man, I ain't got no friends. I need to do something about it. Now you got 15 years older, and you probably don't even have the energy no more to go out to socialize. So once you start to see it start to bud up, I think you might need to jump on it and see if you can change the narrative.
And going through hardship actually makes friendships and relationships closer. Like, look at combat vets, right? Mm-hmm. They go overseas and they got their bros, like they're like family. Then they come back and everyone goes their separate ways. Mm-hmm. And then there's just like this deep depression, many things, but one of which is you no longer have that community. Mm-hmm. And you just find, like, what is worse? Was it I went to war, is it I come back now and I can't relate to anybody and I'm real lonely? I mean, at the VA hospital, you see these guys just wandering around the hospital. It was like a community center. Mm-hmm. It's a hospital. Yeah. These people would just come in there, have some coffee, sit down every day. They made a little area for like chess at one point. I don't know what they do now, but at one point it was like, do we encourage vets to come here and just chill, or do we discourage it? Because, you know, it was like that was the only way that they were ever gonna like connect. Yeah. With, and so you just see this like. Yeah, they went through hardships and go, you know, even if the hardship is going through medical issues or the hardship's going through, you know, whatever, but like if your relationship doesn't have any ups and downs to it, it's pretty shallow,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, and with them gathering at the VA, everybody had something in common. Everybody who's coming up there was possibly either in the war or in the armed services. So, I mean, I don't care who you are. I mean, you don't know this guy, but if he's Army vet, you can sit down and talk about Army stuff, and it'll spin off from there. It's just like growing up, there used to be a group of guys that used to meet up. It was McDonald's every morning.
Oh yeah. They're like old guys?
Yeah,
old guys,
Yeah.
old farmers sitting outside the gas station.
Yeah, or it was another place. We had Crystals down south, but I think it's White Castles
Okay.
in the Midwest. But every morning at Crystals, man, it'll be a whole section just older men with coffee. I don't even think they was in eating Crystals. They would just get a cup of coffee.
Cheap coffee.
Yeah,
Sit there.
sit there and talk every morning. That was every morning. So you gotta find your brotherhood somewhere, man. And I believe they left Crystals and McDonald's that morning feeling good. They had a chance to socialize with some friends, probably get some stuff off the chest, and now they can enter the world and society with a fresh outlook, or at least some steam blown off before they get out there.
A sense of community without knowing it.
Yeah,
You know, it's so ingrained, it's so natural that they don't even know
yeah,
that they have it. And that's always important to recognize too. Like some of the healthiest things or unhealthy things we do, they're not always aware to us.
mm-hmm.
We just have them. We're like, oh, yeah, I guess that probably was the thing that kept me going. If you ask somebody, you know, hey, with your childhood the way it was, like, how did you get this way? Like, you're insightful, you're pathetic, like, giving up how you, it doesn't usually pan out like that. They'll be like, oh, I had this group of friends.
Yeah.
Oh, they let me know, like, yeah, my parents are crazy.
Yeah,
And so that right there centered their brain on what their nervous system said in the house, that this doesn't feel right, but their mind was being told, yes, it is. But their friends are like, man, your parents are crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I got crazy parents, right? And that helps the brain then can kind of centralize, like, what I'm feeling is legit.
yeah,
And I'm not crazy. I can be that way, but they didn't do any work on themselves. And my friends, even if they're saying it rudely, they're still saying something that helps normalize. If you don't have no friends, nobody's telling you this.
yeah.
Right?
And you know what's crazy? You said people do things and they don't even know they're doing it. I could just remember because on Thursday nights at the barbershop after I'm done, we'll sit around and talk. We'll probably have a bottle and pass around, but we're having dialogue. And it was something that I brought to Nebraska with me because that's what I used to do back home when I was working with a buddy of mine. We used to sit around and you know, just have conversations and drink a little bit and just talk about what's going on or what's on your mind. But I never thought of it as this was a brotherhood right here. It was just something we was doing. But bringing it up here and meeting some guys that they really enjoyed it. So they'll call Wednesday night and be like, oh, we meeting up Thursday. And I'm like, I didn't even look at it as a meetup. It was just something. I'm off of work. If you're here, we'll sit around. I'll pull out something and we can watch some YouTube and we'll sit around and just talk for about like 2 or 3 hours, and then we'll disperse and go home. But now looking at it after we were just talking, I was like, man, these dudes was really looking for somewhere to go, and I was providing that, not even knowing it. And you know, I just thought they just wanted to come out and hang out and just drink some free liquor. You know what I mean? But in actuality, it was something for them to do.
They didn't even know.
They didn't even know it.
They didn't either. They didn't know how much they needed. They weren't. That's why it's my job exists now in such high demand.
Yeah.
By the way, because these communities have dispersed.
Yeah.
Much of what I'm doing is now just taking the place of what should have been the community.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part, is we're no longer doing that anymore. We're all so isolated and lonely that we're fiending for. So they sign up for therapy, and they won't give me up even if I have no value in my mind. They pay the fee, they keep coming. Some will prioritize above anything. I'm like, what are you getting out of this, right? It's a community in some sort. Somebody out there is able to like listen to what they're saying. Like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so you offered a place. I even say that this is true. You don't even know how many lives you've saved by having a place for people to go. People don't even know how many lives they've saved by even just you giving them that experience of somebody who's like listening to them and like listened enough to actually like challenge or have that relationship. Like people become suicidal and we're always looking at like the immediate feature of depression or whatever. But like you don't even know how many lives don't even go that way just because of their positive interaction with you.
Leaving there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that pastor called it. I forgot me and that pastor. He came there and he's came out 4 times now, but he'll call sell out on it all the time. Like the good man, listen to him, but everybody else is just gabbing on. Yeah, right. They're not even listening to what the small man has to. But he's very small. Pastor Giles says every time he comes in, that's the man you want to sit and talk to. That's the man you want to sit down. That's just because I'm not saying nobody else can count, but he knows what he's talking about. Nobody's listening to him. They're just like, they're in their own world, but they don't know what they lead with.
Sometimes, I'm telling you this because I see it in therapy, they won't acknowledge you heard anything that time, but then over time you start listening to them, something starts to change.
Yeah.
The brain is a powerful thing, but sometimes we don't always acknowledge the thing that's set in, but they'll set in and they'll come up later, whether we know it or not, or acknowledge the source or not. But we're all planting seeds in each other, positively or negatively, and I just think it's so important to recognize, like, I'm really big on people like, what's my purpose in this life? And I want to do big things. And I'm like, it's funny you want to do big things, because I really enjoy the little things, because as humans, every time, to break it down into something useful, every time we have an experience, it stays in our brain. It's up there somewhere. Every experience we ever have is that way. If you walk down the street and you see 6 men with their hoods up, looking down, whatever, like, first of all, I can't stand that people wear their hoods up these days, like all the time. Yeah. Like, growing up in hoodies, we never put the hood up. We just had it. Yeah. I just feel like these dudes, whether it's the gym or whatever, keep wearing their hood up all the time. I'm like, that was like more of like a gangster rapper look. So now they're wearing their hood up or whatever. But, they're comfy. But anyways, if you walk right down the street, you see people with their hood up looking all whatever, you won't even acknowledge necessarily intellectually what you see. You go back to home and be like, man, it's just dark out there. Nobody talks, nobody looks at you, whatever. You don't even know where you got that data point from, but that's why every opportunity we have with somebody is an experience. And that's why people come back to the bar, or they come back to me, or they come back and they stay friends with you. It's their experience with you. Yeah. And that stays up in their brain, and they want more of that experience.
Yeah, because Pastor John said it a bunch of times. And, like, I know that about myself. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But then, like, last 3 times he said it, then I started to look around just to see what everybody else was doing. But I know, I was like, hey, I know. I overlooked it, but, like, then I started to notice, and then we had that talk about April 16th, but yeah, then it's like, nobody's really, like the seeds that are there that they're living with, they're very fortunate.
They're drawn towards it, where they recognize why they leave, and their mind tells them, like, I want to go back there. It doesn't break down why. He just knows, I want to go back there. Yeah. I had a good experience. Yeah. And that's why it's called phenomenology, and it's the act of us as humans. We live on experience. We live on, like, was it a good experience? We can have good events, but that can be a poor experience. Yeah. If it's a poor experience, even if it was a good event, we'll be like, we want to go back there.
Yeah. Yeah. What time we got on there?
Well,
you got 3. You got
it's 2.
Yeah, you got 3 o'clock there.
I got my daughter up.
So we could just wrap it up. I mean, that was good. I think that was a good session and good gems for everybody to get out there. Yeah, for the brotherhood and build on. So I think that's really good. Starting point. You can't start no better than that, in my opinion.
There's stuff that people they overlook it because our minds are complex and wants complex answers. That's why these simpler ones are like, nah, I can't do that. No. My problems can't be summed up in just like getting a better community. Yeah. But also you get a better community, all of a sudden what starts to happen. Like,
then the sun comes out.
Yeah.
You start making your bed in the morning, right? Then you stop stubbing your toe on the bed after you make it.
Or if you do, you're not so desperate. You're not so like already feeling lonely and stressed out, whatever, because that other cup's full. And then all of a sudden you can handle a step toe, you can handle, building the mail. You can handle these things because you got your cup full somewhere else, but if you just pour it out.
Yeah. Just pouring in. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, I guess we'll call that a wrap. I appreciate y'all watching, even though it's pre-recorded. But to our 20 subscribers and those
That's
that, yeah, I think 20 is good.
It's good.
Myron Golden started out with, what he said, like 8 for like 10 years, and now he's up to a million or so.
Who's that?
I said, Myron Golden, the black dude with the white hair and the gray beard.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he talks about money, spirituality, and yeah, it started out. He said he was on YouTube for years. Nobody knew him, and then all of a sudden, bam. So
That's how I start.
yeah,
Gotta start somewhere.
gotta start somewhere.
Cool, man.
Well, cool.
It's good. It was fun. It was a
Yeah.
good time.
I liked it.
You like your house? What's else? Always good to see
You
you.
as well, man. You too.